Hi guys, this is week 48 of Project Life and I've got my photos here and I thought I would do something a little bit different today. So apart from shuffling around my photos because I felt like there was too much of my face on here, I grabbed out the December Scrapbook kit from Citrus Twist rather than the Pocket Life kit, and I thought I would do a spread of Project Life with some scrapbook supplies. So I'm just starting off by going through the 12 by 12 papers, and I'm just auditioning some by slipping it underneath the page protector there. And as much as I loved the pink ones, I kind of think that this blue, and I think it's pink fresh paper, went nicely with my photos. So I decided I would just use that, although I do change my mind on that one, but I figured I would go ahead and just cut this paper up so that it fit into all the available slots that I have there. So I really love the page, how it has that ombre sort of painty look at the top, and I think that would be nice at the top rather than, I think the paper is designed to go sideways so that the lines are horizontal, but I'm going to put them vertically. So you can see I've just trimmed out, I've only used one half of the paper, so that was somewhat economical. I can keep the other half for something else. I just trimmed out two 4 by 6s and two 3 by 4s, and you can see that all looks really nice there. There is this sort of cut apart sheet from Heidi Swap in the kit, and I decided to trim out the little card that says recorded. It's not quite 3 by 4. It was the hardest thing to cut out. It really did stretch my brain because you had to trim all the little pieces off around the side to actually get it out without damaging all the rest of them. It's an odd size. It's not 3 by 4, but it is close to 3 inches wide. So I decided to trim off the little outside pieces, all that dark navy blue, and just leave kind of a label, I guess, on the inside, and I can stick that onto my actual pattern paper that I've got there. It just means that it's a little bit wider. The pattern paper is a bit wider around the edge, but you can see here, this is when I'm like, oh, I noticed that there were polka dots on the back of this page. So I was like, I'll trim that down and use a 3 by 4 there. So I love the polka dots. I only noticed those accidentally, to be honest. So I'm trimming out another 3 by 4 and removing one of those striped pieces. And I'm going to stick my journaling onto that wee recorded piece that I cut out and then stick that onto the polka dots. And it's at this point I wondered, well, maybe if I'm not going to have all of the papers the same, I should start changing them, and which I do. You'll see in the end, I literally only end up using one of these striped pieces. So I ran the little recorded trimmed out die cut piece through my typewriter, which was a little bit messy, and then I'm just going to stick that straight down onto the polka dot paper and call that done. And then I loved these little striped borders at the bottom of the cut apart piece here, so I am going to trim those out too. The little stripy one, but I was after the Love Life one at this point, but I do end up using the stripy one as well. I felt like I would add this down here just to add a bit more, that it's at this point I'm thinking, I don't love this bold stripe all the way down here. And I couldn't make this Love Life, the way that the script's written and the size that I've printed my photo, I couldn't really make it look good anywhere on either side. I sort of was going to stick this down here, and when you can see, this is when I'm like, oh, I flipped it over and realized I quite liked the pattern on the bottom, on the back, sorry. I like it being a little bit lighter down the bottom, so I decided I would peel off the border that I trimmed and see whether I could make that work down there, which of course I can't because the light on the light doesn't look great. And this is when I pull out the stripy one, and it looks really good. So I'm just going to stick my photo down. I'm just deciding which side to stick that on, but I love having that leaf, the darker leaf showing. It sort of ties in those blues a bit more. And then I'm just adding this little stripe. It was too thin to use my tape runner, so I just added a little bit of glue pen, and it stuck down fine. And so here's where I thought, well, I mean, if I'm going to change that one, I might as well change this one as well. And I liked that same leaf pattern, but my photo up here is a little bit lighter. So I decided to back it onto the striped paper. It gives it a little bit more contrast, a bit of a border onto that light paper, although I did trim that way too big because, again, my photo is quite large and on a 3x4 card. There wasn't a lot of room to have some backing paper, but I think the little bit actually works better. It looks more like an outline. And you'll notice I didn't stick that down. I don't stick that down at all. It just sits there until I go to pick up my page and it falls off. So I did stick it down eventually. Now there's this really great Heidi Swap, it's not a book, sticker sheet. There's 2 sticker sheets in this pack, and they're really beautiful. And of course the colors all go super nicely with the papers that I've chosen. So I just go a little bit sticker mad here, which works really nicely for Project Life. Like, these would be great on a layout as well, but stickers are super handy for Project Life because they are so flat. And these ones, there's like a little bit of gold in there and that navy blue, which I'm really loving. And then I noticed at the bottom here, there's these little, well, they're not really tiny words, they're quite large words, to be honest, but they've got that beautiful gold foiling, so I add a couple of those, and I purposefully didn't add them straight, I sort of offset them because I'm absolutely useless at getting stickers on straight, so I decided to embrace that and go big. Now for my title card, I've grabbed the stamp set, which is the solid Spencer Alpha. Perfect for this title card. I just wish it had numbers. That's the only downside with the stamp set. And I'm totally going to cheat, and I'm going to just stick all 3 letters onto my block in one go and just stamp all of those, and I can re-stamp the E in the middle later, but I figured this was the easiest way to get it centered on my card. Now this is the first time I've used the Alpha, so I did just go and stamp that once on a scrap paper just to what's the word? Season the stamps a little bit, and it didn't. You can see they're a fairly solid stamp, and I haven't quite seasoned them enough. I should have done that a little bit more, but this is the first time I've used them, and I kind of don't mind the rough look of it. So I've just stamped out weak, and to sort of fill out the space a bit more, I added those brackets along the outside, and then I'm just going to stick this gold label down here in the middle. And I'm going to use the Alpha that's in the kit. The rainbow side is by far my favorite, but I thought this was a good opportunity to use this kind of peachy side. It's not really metallic, it's kind of pearly sort of peachy pink color, and I often thought every time I looked at it, like, when am I ever going to use this? But I thought this was a good opportunity to use it because it pulls in all of those little pink tones on the back side of that pink fresh paper. So I'm just spelling out 48, like putting a tiny little numeral 48 on there wouldn't really have looked that effective. So I spelled out 48, and then I'm just going to date stamp directly underneath that. I'm not adding another label. I'm going to use this as my label, and just add my usual little heart in between with a gel pen. And first I was thinking, oh, this is it, I'm done. But I've got those 2 big 4x6 photos that have nothing on them, and although that's fine to leave them with nothing on them, I kind of wanted to add something in there. So I'm going to add a few more of these word stickers, again being precisely unprecise about how straight they are, and just call that done. So it's super simple. I'm not like going over the top with embellishment this week, so all I've used is a couple of bits of pattern paper and a sticker sheet, so you can see how simple it is to use scrapbooking supplies to create a week of Project Life when you've got some stickers in there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys!